Hey guys, I decided to do a top 10 list. Top 10? Oh my well, sorry guys. How do you even get my house? Well, I kinda broke through your window, and the glass is kinda broken, so you're gonna have to fix that at some point. Kinda sucks for you. Wow. I'm just gonna ignore the rage in my heart now and get to the top 10 list. And why are you even in my house anyways? Oh, I heard you were doing the top 10 list, and I just want to see how great or most likely terrible it's gonna be. Should I let him stay in here, or should I just kick him out? Well, I could prove to him that my list doesn't suck, but he could be annoying to me anyways. But, hey, I'll just go through with it for him being in there. It can't be that bad, right? So, I'm just gonna start. Number 10. And you're wondering, probably, what is this list about? Well, the top 10 underrated games in my collection. But I'm gonna set some rules straight before I do this list. Oh, no rules. I didn't know this was school. If I'd known it would be like this, I would not even came. This is boring. Anyways, the rules are mediocre games like Garfield's Nightmare won't be featured on this list. Underrated RPGs like Lost Odyssey or Golden Sun won't be on here since haven't finished those games yet. And games I haven't played that much will, of course, not be on this list. Aw, those rules suck. You shoulda had no rules. Shoulda just had those games been on there anyways. Well, it wouldn't have been genuine. It would have been greater. I'm just gonna ignore that. And number 10 on my list is Donkey Kong Country 3 GBA version. And I picked the GBA version specifically because the soundtrack's kinda underrated. It improves some of the levels that had problems in the original and adds some cool extra content, including a new world. No! Gosh, no. It's way better than that. And that's my top 10 choice. Now, going to number 9. Did you like mine at number 9? Do you want me to murder you? Oh, I'm too sexy to be destroyed. I doubt anybody watching this agrees with you. They probably were horrified at the sights you just displayed. Next game. Number 9. Mario Party DS. Put this game spot because It's underrated since most people don't talk about the Mario Party handheld games, and most of them kind of suck, so I can see why. But this game is actually pretty good. Should be talked about like the other kind of Mario Party games, and it's definitely better than 9 and 10. So, if you want a great handheld Mario Party, play Mario Party DS. Since some people at least know this game, it's lower on the list. Same with Country 3, GBA. At least some people kinda know about it, but it's still kinda underrated though. People know about it, how's it underrated? I literally just said why it's underrated. Were you even listening? Oh, sorry, my ears are kinda clogged. You can't be this dumb. Well, I'm just trying to annoy you.
Gee willikers, that was super duper pooper how your annoyance turned off the camera somehow. I don't even know why I'm living anymore. Don't even say anything, because I don't want to hear the piece of crap words that come out of your mouth.
Next game on the list. Number 8. Is it how much you ate? Or maybe, how much you wait? Wow. I cringe. Next. The game for number 8 spot is Mario Kart Super Circuit. I can admit this game can be annoying at times, but it is pretty fun for the levels that it has. It even lets you play all the original Super Mario Kart levels, and it has some pretty good characters. It's a pretty fun game. Underrated handheld Mario Kart, and think it should have more attention than it deserves. And if you like challenge, play this. Next game on the list, number 7, Golden Axe. Is that like the Axe body spray? Okay. It is not the Axe body spray. And I literally just died inside from you even saying that this is anything like that. Oh. Ignore that. About to go insane from how annoying this guy is. Gotta keep myself together. Doesn't seem like I'm improving myself so far. Maybe it'll change. But anyways, this game, number 7 spot, is at the spot because besides like people that are fans of Sega Genesis and have the Sega Genesis classics, who really talks about Golden Axe? I mean, the last game in the Golden Axe series kind of sucked, so I can understand, but come on. This is a pretty fun game for beat 'em ups. They don't even have that many beat 'em ups nowadays. Glad they have some returning though. But maybe this series should return and they should look at how good of a game this was for beat 'em ups. If you like barbarian kind of warrior kind of games, you should play this game. It's just great. That's what I have to say about that. Is it really that great though? Like, there's abs on the cover. Is that really a reason to say it's bad? That is so dumb. Next. Oh. You can't think everything I say is dumb. Well, guess what? It kind of is. Now sit down and shut up. Being rude. Number 6. Donkey Kong Land is the game number 6. Yeah, this game can be not the greatest for when you're playing it on original Game Boy or on 3DS, but if you're playing it on Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance, it can be pretty fun actually. The soundtrack's pretty good for an 8-bit game. It has some pretty original stages, like the construction area before Returned had the construction. It also has... You stop turning it off for the camera. But I kinda like the timid thunderbolts. As I was saying, the cloud area. And that is why this game is underrated. It has some pretty good level areas for originality. They're pretty fun to play. I mean, even as hard as the worst level is in this game, at least they put a portal for you to skip the level. So, this game doesn't deserve as much of the hate as it gets, and should be looked upon more fondly, and remembered as a classic Game Boy game. Alright, now the number 5 game on the list. Oh, is it hey? I'm just gonna stop you there. No, it isn't. It's Mario Land 2. It's way better than that. Okay. This game is underrated because it's barely talked about. And it's a pretty fun game that doesn't have the princess getting kidnapped for the 1000th time. It has Mario's own castle, which what even happened to that kind of castle in literally every other game. I guess you went from having a castle to having a house. Kinda sucks for you, Mario. Went from being kinda rich for your place to being regular. But anyways, this game has a pretty fun levels, has a pretty good soundtrack. Yeah, it can be kinda easy, but it's still pretty fun. And the last level kinda makes up for the easiness anyways by being pretty challenging. This game should be mentioned for 2D Mario games more, and I honestly think it's better than the new Super Mario Brothers games. They're kinda overrated and stale and boring. Yeah, I saw that. They're boring. But they're new. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's good. And that's why Mario Land 2 is underrated. Okay. Next game on the list. What the? Excuse me. Sorry, but I kinda need to use your bathroom, and I couldn't make it, so I had to go in your house. And I kinda need to pull my pants down far and pencil open the toilet, so I'm gonna go now. If you don't mind. Okay. What even is my existence anymore? Why is this even happening? I already have to deal with this piece of crap. Hey, at least I'm not making literal crap like the guy in the background is. Don't remind me. I'm just gonna ignore how bad it stinks in here now and go to number 4 spot on the list. You may have noticed that the music playing in the background for this video is coming from this game. DuckTales Remastered. This game is kind of underrated. I don't really hear it talked about that much, and it's a pretty fun platformer game. If you want, like, a good platformer on the modern systems for, like, Disney kind of game, well, this is a pretty good choice. Especially if you like stuff like the DuckTales series. It has a pretty great soundtrack by the guy who made the Shovel Knight soundtrack, so it's gonna be awesome. It has some pretty awesome levels. It has awesome DuckTales characters, and that's just good enough for you to know that's underrated. Next game on the list, number 3. Number 3. Was that even necessary? Oh, you shouldn't be allowed to annoy me. I should only be allowed to annoy you. How is that even fair? Fair to me? Of course it is. And I just have to say, for your last choice on your list, how is this even underrated? People love DuckTales kind of games. A kind of good point from you, actually. I'll say more why I think it deserves to be at the spot. It deserves to be at the spot because of how much of an improvement it is from the original version of the game. And would you really hear people talk about this that much for, like, being that great of a platformer with, like, Mario, Donkey Kong, platformers like that? Probably usually wouldn't see this game be with the greats like that. But I do think this is a pretty good game, actually. And better than some of the games, actually, for popular platformers like Country Returns, New Super Mario Brothers again, because that series really is kinda the definition of generic. And that is a more extended version of why I think this should be in the spot. Because it's pretty good and it deserves a little more respect than it gets for how great of a game it is. Now, number 3. You hate destroying my point. Ooh, I destroyed his point, eh? Maybe I did kind of prove something to him at least. Makes me feel better. Now I'm back to being annoyed again. Number 3. And number 3 game is another platformer game, but this time on the Genesis. Rocket Knight Adventures. This is a pretty underrated game with pretty cool platformer for, meant to say, pretty cool main character. Oh, you made a mistake. Yeah, like everybody else in the world does. Even you. I don't make mistakes. I'm the greatest ever. So, everybody, even the girls, want me. One more just ran me over from how cringy that was. Rocket Knight Adventures, anyways, is the number 3 spot because the platforming is pretty good in this game. The soundtrack's good too. You don't hear people talk about Rocket Knight Adventures that much besides, like, once again, Sega fans, like the Golden Axe game. This is a pretty underrated platformer and plays pretty good, actually. And it gives a good amount of challenge. So if you don't like once again. The new Super Mario Bros. Series, for how easy it is. Well, games like this can give you actual challenge. It even mixes regular platforming levels with being on like minecart kind of thing, similar to Donkey Kong, but not all the way like it. And you have some shoot 'em up kind of levels, which are pretty awesome. Get to have a jetpack. I mean, come on, who doesn't think that's cool? Wow, you must be pretty lame then. And that is why, anyways, that this is a pretty underrated game and should be talked about from Konami, like the classics like Castlevania and Contra. Okay, time for number 2. Oh, oh, gosh. I kinda just took a big number 2 and kinda wanted to tell you that some of the stanky turds that's made kinda went on the floor, so I'm guessing you're gonna want to clean that, so probably should do that at some point. Okay, why can't you just do that, since you broke into my house? 'Cause I don't have time for this. I'm gonna leave. Okay. Literally trying really hard not to explode finger right now. Already have to clean the glass from the windows. Now I have to clean some guy's stanky poo. Of course, this was just a top 10. Didn't need some annoyances like this. Just gonna finish this now. Number 2. Number 2 on my list is Mario Super Sluggers. This game is pretty underrated for a sports game. You mostly hear about the Mario tennis games, Mario Strikers, but you usually don't really hear as much praise for the baseball kind of Mario games. Yeah, I have seen a little bit of praise for this game, but it is still pretty underrated compared to the other sports games. And here's a fact you probably didn't know, which kind of makes it more underrated. This game didn't even release in Europe, so a good amount of people didn't even get to play this game, so that's a good reason for it to be pretty low. I mean, not pretty low, pretty far down on the list. And other reasons why this is underrated is because the adventure mode is pretty fun. The regular baseball kind of playing against teams is really pretty fun, and this game has a pretty good roster for the amount of characters in this game. It's even arguably better than Mario Kart 8's roster for, like, have characters that aren't just babies for their added characters, terrible characters like Pink Gold Peach, or even though these characters are good, they do take up a lot of the slots, the coupons. They could have had more characters there, and this game has arguably a better roster than that game. And I just have to say that this game's actually pretty fun for the motion controls. So they work pretty well and are accurate for the baseball experience. And that is why this is number 2. And the number 1 most underrated game in my collection is, if you want to do a drum roll, please. Oh, I'll do drums. Wow, that was the worst drum roll I've ever heard. So great. Number 1 is Donkey Kong Jungle Climber. This game is pretty underrated for how original the kind of gameplay is in this game. It has some pretty cool levels. Has one of the best soundtracks on the DS, in my opinion. And the last Donkey Kong game, sadly, at the moment, to feature the Crumlins and Cruel in it. Hope that changes in the future, but this is a pretty awesome game, and that's why I think this is the best of the underrated games on this list. It's original, has a great soundtrack, has good characters, has originality. People don't really talk about it all that much, and mostly skipped it and didn't play it. Well, I think that should change, and that's why it's so underrated. So, what do you think of my list? Well, I just have to say, it was kinda horrible. Of course, you would say that. But, why do you say that? Do you actually have a good reason, or are you just as terrible as that opinion? Oh, I have a good reason. There's a certain game that should have been on this list. Maybe some of these are kind of underrated, but this certain game not being on the list was kind of unacceptable. So you're telling me, because I didn't put one game on the list, it's terrible. What even is this game anyways? Oh, I'll show you. The game is this game called Viva Pinata. I bet you didn't even remember that this even existed. And that's like a good enough reason for it to be on this list. You probably don't even remember what this game is. Some people online do know what it is, but when talking about games from Rare, you don't really hear this game brought up. And you don't hear people really bring it up in general. Okay, that's all well and good, but there's something I have to tell you. Did you even listen at the beginning of when I was doing this list for the rules, where I said games I haven't played that much won't be on this list? Huh. Did you say that? I don't remember that. Huh. Must have been in your dreams or something. You know what? I had enough of this. Get out of my house. You're a piece of crap. And I'm tired of your annoyance. That's mean. I don't even want to hear your comeback because it's terrible. Get out. Before I murder? No, what? Not gonna murder you, but I'll call the cops on you. Oh gosh, not the popo. I need to get out of here then. So glad that he left. He was annoying, right, guys? Well, hope you enjoyed this top 10 list. I somewhat kinda didn't enjoy making it for how much I was annoyed, but at the same time, it was great showing all you these underrated games. Bye.